everybody. I've put off this video for a while because I pretty much repressed the memory, so I'm going to try and make this as short as possible, but I have a feeling I'm going to ramble on about the details. So I just wanted to make a video talking about what it's like to intern at Okopia for anyone who's going to do it before you decide to do it. I think you should know this. I came to Korea planning to do the Okopia internship. I thought that it would be a good way to integrate into Korean lifestyle because it wouldn't be all in Korean and I could speak in English and stuff and slowly gradually adjust. It was also an internship where I thought I could kind of decide what kind of work I wanted to do, and I wanted to work on video editing. So I specifically wanted to do that for my internship, but the internship is unpaid. What you do have to pay for is housing, and rent is not cheap, and for some reason rent for unpaid interns is somehow higher than rent would be for guests who want to stay at the house for whatever reason. There were some warning signs I should have picked up on. For example, at first I was thinking I might commit to this for 9 months, but then they were demanding that I pay the entire housing payment in full at once. And there's no way I was going to pay for 9 months of rent at once. So I said I'll start with 3 months. So I paid for 3 months of rent at once, and when I asked, they didn't offer any sort of like monthly plan where I could pay by month. At first I thought that was reasonable because they probably maybe had problems with people before who wouldn't pay the rent on time or something. So when I got to Korea, the boss was pretty helpful. He helped be the contact for my Korean quarantine, and he picked me up from my quarantine place when I was finished and took me to the house. Another intern was also arriving at pretty much the same time as me from Japan. However, we both quickly realized that we really didn't like the internship, and within 3 weeks we both moved out and quit. For me, it boiled down to a couple things. So according to the website, Okopia has 2 houses that girls can stay in, but since it's COVID times and pretty much no one's coming to Korea, I think only one is open right now, and that's the Star House. And so the Star House is located here. It's really close to the Hongdae Ipgu역, which is a really well-connected station with I think 3 lines going through it. Hongdae is obviously a big tourist spot, and so you can walk to the station in 1 minute. It's extremely close. It's half a block away. However, the location and the water filter inside are pretty much the only pros that the house had. The main driving factor that drove me out of Okopia was the living conditions. They were absolutely horrible, and especially for the price, they were not good. So the house has 3 rooms, and 2 of them are quadruples, so they have 4 beds in them and 2 bunk beds each. And there's 1 double, which had 1 bunk bed. And I was staying in the double. I technically had a roommate who left all her stuff there, but she had indefinitely gone back to Japan, so I was using the room by myself. My first impression was that the mattress was thin and it was dirty. And he gave us new sheets, but it was just one thin IKEA sheet, so it was really just a mattress cover and wasn't like appropriate bedding. And especially if you're a girl and you're worried about accidents at night, I would not sleep on that. So I actually ordered myself more bedding. This is the kitchen, and when I first came in I was like, this is pretty dirty, and there's just stuff all over the counter. The counter was pretty much unusable, and I cook for pretty much every meal, so I use the kitchen all the time. And the bathroom was also awful. Even if you took the quickest shower you possibly could, the entire floor was flooded in pretty much like foot or ankle high water. And it's because the drain was clogged, and some of the other girls tried to clean a couple times. It doesn't solve the draining problem at all. So after someone showers, the floor is covered in murky and dirty water. And even if you're wearing shower slippers, you're stepping in that. And personally, I'm not stepping in that to use the toilet. So there were multiple occasions when someone had showered and the floor was flooded and I couldn't use the bathroom when I wanted to. So I ended up going to the subway station to pee. One evening, someone had showered, so I couldn't use the toilet before bed, so I thought I'd wake up early the next morning and use it. And I woke up really early, and someone had just showered again in the morning. And it was really frustrating. Another frustrating thing was that there were mosquitoes. I got like 10 bites on each arm. I like killed 7 mosquitoes in 1 day once. To add on top of all of it, nothing was clean. The floor was covered in hair, is all dirty, no one ever cleaned. The living room table was covered in the other girls' stuff. It was also really dirty. I couldn't even sit there and eat. And if I ever clean anything, like I clean the floor or clean the kitchen, it's immediately dirty again and there was no use. And that brings me to the second reason I left, and this is conditional. Not everyone will have this experience, and it's not really under the control of Acopia, but as a college student, you have to live with pretty much high school girls or younger. And you're sort of expected to maintain the house and clean. And for some reason, the other girls don't have that expectation, which doesn't make sense to me. And the girls I lived with, I could not put up with how they lived. They were always sleeping at day and up at night. They didn't help welcome me to Korea or show me around and teach me things. They always showered unpredictably. I'd be the only one taking out the trash. And worst of all, they smoked. So that's another thing about the location of this house. It was situated on the 4th floor above a tteokbokki jip, in an alley where people come to smoke. So every time you're coming home, you're always passing people smoking, which for me is unpleasant. So for the first couple weeks, I thought, oh, the smoke from the alley is just floating up here. But actually, it was my roommates who were smoking directly on the balcony that was right next to my room. So I'm in my room, getting bitten by mosquitoes, smelling smoke continuously, and not being able to go into the bathroom when I wanted to. And that's enough to make me not want to live there. I think if you can't feel comfortable in the entire house you're in, at least you have to be able to feel comfortable in your bedroom. And I couldn't even feel that. So it was a complete deal breaker for me. And that's just the condition of the house. So I'll move on to talk about the work. First of all, I think the demands of the work were a little bit unreasonable for an unpaid internship. He asked me to make a video every week, while I had originally planned to maybe do one every 2 weeks because I have my own videos to make and I have Korean school going on. And so yeah, that was a lot because videos typically go at $60 a piece if you're editing them for someone else. And if they're really good, way more than that. So yeah, it's really skilled work that I don't think should be unpaid like that, especially not on a weekly basis. Also, while proposing content for me to make, he proposed things like journalism, like go and find expats in Korea and interview them about how it's like to be in Korea. And I'm like, how am I gonna find those people? Am I supposed to be a journalist? Like, I don't want to meet people during COVID. So yeah, I think they're just unreasonable expectations. And also, more than I expected, they don't speak English. So I was kind of there to be like a token English translator or something. The boss, like while he explains things to me, he like mimes and points and doesn't talk. He's like, yeah, his English is just really poor. And compared to what I thought about being helped to adjust to Korea, it was not the same. My fellow intern also had frustrations. While my frustrations were mainly about the house, her frustrations were mainly about the work. She had come to do kind of Japan-Korea relations kind of thing because that's what she's majoring in college, but she was asked to do social media work for the entertainment side of Acopia. It was not something she knew how to do or something she had wanted to do, and so that was very frustrating to her. Lastly, while the boss was nice, he was also just unreasonable for unpaid internship. One of the first nights, he held a kimchi jjigae dinner and then filmed us for a video to put on YouTube, and I had not come to be in YouTube videos. On the first day of work, I arrived spot on at 3, which is the time I was supposed to come, and then he told me I was late because I hadn't come 10 minutes early and said it was in the contract, but I read the contract again and there's no such thing there. And while cleaning, he told my fellow intern that she looked like she had never cleaned in her life or something, like your mom never made you clean before or something, which was like so unnecessary. Another thing that neither of us had expected to do was cleaning. It had not stated it anywhere on the website, but we were responsible for cleaning the house, the office, and the school. So 3 different locations that Acopia had, we had to clean each week and go there and like mop the floor or whatever. That was not something I signed up to do. I did not come to Korea to clean your facilities for you for free. And we're cleaning for free and he has the audacity to complain about how we're doing it. Like 1 week we're trained on how to clean and then the next week he comes again and re-shows us because he doesn't trust us to do it right. And so if you're gonna re-show us and do it again yourself, just clean yourself. We're not gonna clean. There's this one time he had us take out all his trash and recycling and all these boxes he had. I don't know why he couldn't just bring it down 2 flights of stairs himself. It was literally downstairs. He just wanted to give us something to do, I guess. And so we take the boxes down and we stack them up, and then we go to clean the other place and we come back, and then he sends us a message with a picture of the boxes all fallen down saying, you shouldn't take out the trash like this. Don't have them all everywhere and fallen down. And we hadn't done that. we had stacked it up nicely and someone had already come by and picked out the boxes they wanted, so they like left it all on the floor. But we hadn't set it up that way, and he got mad at us for that, and he didn't listen to us when we said that we hadn't done that. There was one day when I came in to work and he wasn't dressed. He was like in his night t-shirt in his room. He came out like all sleepy, like, "Oh, what are you here for?" I'm like, "I'm here to work." And he just wasn't ready at 3 p.m. And there was another time when I was working and it was like 5 p.m. and he's like, "I'm sleepy, I'm gonna take a nap. If you need anything, just..." He's sleeping. So this is the office, and it's kind of like, it's supposed to be a study cafe, and he wants people to come and study and cross-culturally mingle or something. That's the point of it. I don't really get it, but what I slowly figured out is that I think he lives there. Like, I think his bedroom is there, which is really weird to me. The first day of work, I spent explaining ad revenue to him while he was very frustrated and agitated about making money, which didn't sit right with me. Yeah, so for me, I hadn't expected to come to clean. I didn't expect it to come to make that many videos, but I would have been willing to put up with the work if it weren't for the awful condition of the house and the contingency that if you're working, you have to stay in the house. So I quit both at once and I got all my free time back, and I think that was a really good decision. So before you decide to intern at Ecopia, I hope you get to know these things about the house and the job. Admittedly, things might be a little different if it's not during COVID and if there's more work to do. And this was mostly a video about the negatives. Not that there were many positives, but I didn't mention much positive things. So take it with a grain of salt, but if you need to know the negatives, these are the negatives, and it is why both me and another intern quit in 3 weeks. And at the end, we had fulfilled about 3 weeks of, I had paid for 3 months of rent and she had paid for 4 months of rent, and we asked for a refund and he didn't give it to us, and I know he's probably short on guests right now, but it was also not very forgiving or kind, considering just the state of the world and people's financial situations. So yeah, I lost a lot of money moving out, but as soon as I moved to the next place I decided to live at, the streets were more welcoming. I felt more able to go into the restaurants and eat, and I felt at home in my bedroom. It's not really whether your bedroom feels like home, but it's whether you can make it feel like home. And I definitely could not feel comfortable in my own bedroom, even in a bedroom I was using alone at Ecopia. I hope this video reaches someone who needs it and helps you make a really informed decision about going to Ecopia. I'll see you guys next time in the next one.